All right, what I would tell you right now, first of all, 5-0 for UNLV football. How about that? I want to give a great shout out to Coach Mullen and his team, staff, I think it's awesome. There's only, I don't know how many teams are 5-0, but there's not that many. And it's great for the school, great for the, for the community. I'm a big football fan, so just want to give that first shout out. Secondly, we're in our kind of third week of team practice since we've officially started. We're like the MASH unit right now. I mean, we've got 5 players out with injuries. What are you going to do? That's just part of the deal because, there's just things happen. So we got to get back healthy. I mean, that's our biggest deal is just getting healthy. Our point of emphasis right now, I've spent this whole week just focused on defense, especially transition defense. We got to be better transition defensively. You cannot be really good on the defensive end of the floor if, number one, you're not elite at transition defense. We've got to get the basket covered. We got to get the ball stopped. And then the other 3 guys who are crash guys, offensive rebounds, got to sprint back, load to the ball. And it's not a pointing and talking, it's pointing and hollering. It's screaming to make sure everyone's organized. The communication part of it, but we've got to get the basket and the ball's got to be stopped, and everyone else coming in's got to load to the ball, and making sure that that the offense sees bodies, sees a crowded floor. So that's something that we have to be better at in transition defense. Secondly, we've got to be better defensively at just making sure that we don't have any looseness. We've got to be in our gaps. We've got to be shrinking the floor. We get too spread out. And I don't know if it's part of its conditioning, if we've got to be in better shape. So we're running the guys a lot, but it's just got to be a defensive mindset. It's got to be a hit-first mentality for us to achieve what we want to achieve. That's got to be critical for us. We've got to be able to win games when shooting, when we're not making shots. And there's other ways to win. Winning the margins, winning the possession game. And how do you do that? Offensive rebounding, getting more shots than your opponents, not turning the ball over. Today we use balloons. We put 5 balloons up for the gray team, 5 balloons up for the scarlet team. When someone has a turnover, we pop the balloon. So you get 5 turnovers the entire practice. After that, you're running for everyone. And so you got to take care of the ball. Offensive rebounding, defensively getting deflections and getting stops. We've got to get 7 3 stops throughout the course of the game. And in order to do that, you've got to be just sound and not gambling. Right now, we're not as sound as we need to be defensively. And but the good news is we don't play tomorrow. We got a little time. We got to continue to clean things up, and we'll get there, in time.
My first question was going to be, where would you assess where you're at this point, taking over a program in comparison to the Memphises and the Georgia Techs and even at your time at Arizona as well?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you that it's different because I'm taking over a program with 13 new players and everybody's new. Whereas when I took over at Memphis, there was a few players. And Georgia Tech, there was a few guys that had already been that already were there, so they knew each other. The difference here is everybody's new. And so trying to gel chemistry, cohesiveness, what's important. And when you're putting a practice schedule down and you're going 2.5 hours, you've got to figure out, okay, we're going to be good at these things and we got to keep drilling them, knowing that you can't get to everything. And I look right now like we're way behind in things we haven't even put in. But because it's a brand new team, 13 new guys, nobody had played with each other from any other school, you got to really have a priority of what's going to be important to you and focus on those things and then get the team ready for that with cohesiveness and chemistry. And so, I want us to be better defensively. Right now, we're not where we need to be defensively, and sometimes the ball sticks with us. We've got to be better at 0.5 decision-making, not giving the ball a headache. Those things we've got to continue to get better at. The open man is the go-to man. We don't have a go-to man on this team. Our go-to man is the open man, and that ball's got to be moving like a hot potato. Boom, boom, boom. It can't stick.
On your point about defense, How much have you scouted the Mountain West? How much have you watched the Mountain West in the past? Because this is a rough and tough defensive league, especially the best programs.
Yeah, well, of course I know the Mountain West. I mean, there's some new coaches, so there's some, obviously, and there's turnover with players transferring or going pro or graduation. But I have a good feel in the Mountain West first of all, it's a great basketball league. It's a great, that's why I'm talking about winning on the road. It's a great home court advantage league throughout this league. And you've got to find ways to win on the road when you're not shooting the ball well. And that's where I talk about winning the possessions, winning the margin game, offensive rebounding, not turning it over, deflections, getting 7 3-stops in a row throughout the course of the game. So it's got to be a hit-first mentality in everything that we do, and it's got to be a defensive mindset. Because if you have if you're playing on your heels, or you're playing anything cool, casual, or cute, or you're trying to thread the needle and say, we've got to be perfect from 3-point range to win this game, you're going to get your butt kicked in the Mountain West, bottom line. So it's got to be a defensive mindset, hit-first mentality, and at any point you play cool, casual, or cute, you're just going to get your tail kicked. It's the bottom line.
Saw you laying doing pretty good towards the end of practice about the offense. You just mentioned some of the things about the ball being sticky, but what sort of message are you trying to get across offensively?
As I said, nobody wants to see the dribbling rebels. Nobody wants to see that. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. Andy Grossman doesn't want to see it. The fans don't want to see it. Nobody wants to see the dribbling rebels. The ball has got to move. It's got to be 0.5 mentality. That thing's got to be not sticking and moving constantly. And our go-to man has got to be we don't have hey man, you got to go get us 30 tonight to win the game. We've got our go-to guy is the open guy. And I say that to say that, yeah, are there going to be some things where we run plays for guys, of course, and put them in positions to be successful? But the overall concept, the conceptual thought process is, we've got to be a 0.5 mentality. Shoot it, pass it, drive it. Ball cannot stick. It can't be massaged. It can't be given a headache. So we've had some really good days. Like yesterday, we had 22 made field goals. 14 of them were assisted. So that's a great stat, and that is big for us. And we had great paint touches. Like, we're way better when we get a paint touch. But today, like the Scarlet team, we were playing around the perimeter, the ball was being held, but terrible shot selection, and they got their butt kicked by the gray team, bottom line.
That Scarlet team, you mentioned for every turnover you got to run. So was that 12 turnovers, so they had to go up and down 12 times? So we do 5 balloons, 5 gray, 5 Scarlet. So you get 5 turnovers in practice. After the 5th one, every one you turn over. So we had the balloons, we popped the balloon so they can, it's a visual image. And then so they had 10 total turnovers because they had the first 5. Then after that, they put an X. So they had 5. And then because they lost, that included the running. So that's why they had to do a deep 12, which is back down 12 times in a minute 15, and based on the turnovers and them losing to gray. You talk about offense and developing an offensive identity. How hard is that when Miles Shea might be your point guard and he's out, so now you're trying to work an offensive identity with other guys?
Well, think about this. And number one, every time we do something live, competitive, the loser always runs. So no matter what the game is, you lose your run. Secondly, we have 5 guys out today, not practicing, and we've had that for pretty much for a few weeks, months. Miles Shea, as you mentioned, is out. Lodgie's out. Isaac Williamson was out for a while, came back to practice. He was out today. Emmanuel Steffen out. He hurt his lower back. Tyron Jones, who's starting coming back, but he's been out. So you have 5 high-level players not practicing for a while, and 2 of our 3-5 men are out. So, and our true point guard's out. And so, yes, you're trying. But here's my thing. In my position, I'm only thinking like, okay, this is who's here to practice. We got to get these guys ready to play. I can't count on the injured guys to play right now. So we got to get everyone ready to play, and we got to figure it out, because when the ball's tipped, no one's feeling sorry for us if we got a lot of injuries. We just got to get healthy. We've got to get our guys healthy. And then the key is going to be when you get healthy, they just can't come right back. It's going to take them a 2 to 2.5 week process to gel back, to get their conditioning back. And I do think, I've said this, I think November, I'm hoping we win every game in November, but it could be a journey trying to figure us out, because we've been so disjointed with our numbers because of injuries, that until we get everyone back, which I think everyone will be fully healthy at some point in November, and then getting them back into chemistry and the cohesiveness and conditioning is when we should be able to be seen to play our best basketball.
Last one, just to go back to the first point you made about football and a 5-0 start. I don't know where the football program was at Memphis and Georgia Tech, and, when you were coaching there, but what does a successful football program do for you guys? I know with the fans, it actually raises expectations.
Well, yeah, I mean, look,
Well,
what I would tell you is this: when you're the basketball coach at UNLV, there's always going to be expectations. I mean, whether football's 5-0 or 0-5, or there's going to be expectations. And when you coach at this level, there's a scoreboard, and there's going to be expectations. That doesn't bother me. And the amount of pressure of self-induced pressure I put on myself internally, that nobody can put more than what I put on myself. So that doesn't bother me on that. What I would tell you, though, the better football does, the better for men's basketball, the better for women's basketball, the better for swimming and diving, the better for baseball, you know what I mean? Better for volleyball. So everybody wants, because there's just so much upside with football. And so, and think about the publicity of everyone's talking about UNLV. It is only positive. Dan Mullen's an awesome coach. Obviously, look, the guy took Mississippi State. They were number 1 in the country when he was at Mississippi State. I've been to Starkville many times. Okay, there's not a lot to do in Starkville, so to have Mississippi State as number 1 in the country at one point, hard to do. He's an elite coach. They're 5-0, and we got to make sure everyone's out there to support them this weekend. Homecoming versus Air Force, and why can't they be in the playoffs? I'm not speaking. This is me being a fan, and a UNLV fan. But why can't they be in the playoffs to keep doing their job?
My last question is just about identity. Obviously, getting the team fully healthy, but in a perfect scenario, November, December, January time, what will the identity be of this one?
Yeah, I mean, look, our identity's got to be a defensive mindset. I've said this, a million times, and I'll say it a million more. We've got to play with such great appreciation. I don't want anyone that comes. You come to the game, you don't want to see your team play with any entitlement. What does that mean? A rebound is a loose ball. The ball, there's two loose balls, one in the air off the glass or one on the floor. And you've got to win either one of them. Like, it's just got to be that mentality. Like, winning that possession is more important than breathing. Nobody wants to see the ball being, as I mentioned, we don't want to see the dribbling rebels, okay? The ball's got to move. So I think it's got to be, people want to see their team, their program play with an intensity, with an appreciation, with a sense of urgency in everything that we do. Are there going to be some tough nights where you're not playing well, shoot offensively, and you got to find other ways to win? That's where the toughness comes from it. But I think I want the fan base for the identity to say, man, we know what we're getting with that team. That team competes. The 2 words I would use would be that team has competitive excellence. They have competitive excellence.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thanks everybody.
All right, well, how was today's practice?
Today's practice was good. I liked it a lot. I would say it's very high energy. A lot of guys just going at it and scrap.
What was the message throughout practice?
Mainly for me is take care of the ball. For the whole squad, take care of the ball. Shot selection, and really emphasizing getting 2 feet in the paint.
How'd you take what Coach Pastner was saying there towards the end about shot selection for the whole team?
I like it a lot. I think he's got a whole point. We have a lot of dudes that can score, and we have a lot of dudes that can hit tough shots, but we have a lot of dudes shooting tough shots, and it's not really good for the whole team.
What's been the adjustment for you? New program, new city?
To me, I really don't feel no adjustment. I've been to Vegas before. I lived in Utah before. So to me, it's just like doing the same thing, just going somewhere new and playing basketball and just working as hard as I can.
What was the hook for you with UNLV? Who was the recruiter or what was the draw?
Really just Coach Pastner, just the position he said he had for me, what he thought I could do and bring for the squad as far as being a leader, and with my experience, especially the last couple years at Illinois. So hearing that kind of just sold me, and it kind of showed me that he wanted me more than any of the other coaches recruiting me.
Has your position responsibility changed a little bit with Miles down for a while?
Yeah. Right now he's got me focusing on point guard, which is something I need anyway. Especially if because I want to play at the highest level possible. So if I want to get there, I need to learn how to play point guard and run the team. So it's been great for me.
What do you have to learn?
Like I just said, like running a team, making the right passes, the right reads, and just taking care of the ball.
Good. You want to go? Okay. Have team roles started to sort of develop in terms of when you're the point guard, you know who you might be the go-to guy, but you know who the go-to guys are. Have some guys stepped up where like, hey, crunch time, this is gonna be a guy, and a shot clock, this could be a guy?
Well, like I said earlier, we all have a bunch of guys on the team that could go get a bucket whenever. So I feel like, if we could just learn how to all play together, anyone could be the go-to guy.
Who are some of the players that stood out for you? You didn't play with you. This is a relatively...
I think we all stand out.
All right, Howie, how's it been so far in Vegas and with UNLV?
So far, Vegas and UNLV has been good. Based on my past, it's a big adjustment, being in a bigger city. But it's been a great environment. It's been great gelling with the staff and the staff, the staff that the players, the players that the staff went and got out, man. Gelling with these guys has been great.
Talk about your background. Why this is such a big change?
Well, last year was actually my first year playing in the past 2 years. The last year I was at UTRGV. It was our first year in the Southland. And then before that, I actually went under a coach named Matt Figger. I went there to redshirt. I actually paid my way to go. He didn't have a scholarship for me, so I paid my way to go. I had some rehab stuff going on with my hip during the time, so I had missed that year. And then we ended up getting a new coach, Fleming. He came from BYU. And, all the previous schools before that, I was at Illinois State and Winthrop, and they're all great programs. But, it's just a much lower level. It's a different level than being here in the Mountain West. So it's been a big adjustment, and I've just been accepting it all.
Can you talk about some of the stuff off the court? The amenities, the training, the food, like all that does rise as you move further up. In theory, it does.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, the amount of things, we got these little things we wear every day in practice, that's new to me. But it just goes to show how tedious and how little the margins is to win. You want to get the most out of all your players, and I think here at UNLV, they do a good job at providing us food, providing us access to all the things, even managers and wisdom, even guys having Stacey Augment on staff, man, it's great, just to be able to pick his brain. So the amenities, the access to things is crazy here.
What's the biggest thing that Stacey told you in conversations? That's interesting.
Well, for me, my background, man, is just a bunch of mental reps. So Stacey has given me good advice on just being a mental killer. Not channeling out anything, just being a killer at all times, bro. That's what he's been preaching on me.
You mentioned the technology available. Have you been surprised as to being in good shape, or maybe that you weren't in as good a shape as you thought?
Oh man, it's crazy because actually, like I said, last season was my first time playing in about 2 years. So my conditioning is way, way better than it's ever been my whole career, though. Regardless of the past injuries I've had, man, right now, to this day, I'm in the best shape I've ever been. And that shout out to Pastner, because he got the blueprint, and he makes sure we get them running in, too.
I was going to say, Pastner's pretty buff. I was like, hey, if he's doing it, you better do it.
Yeah, I don't think Pastner will tell you to do something that he couldn't do himself.
Okay, what position have you played? Where was your game in the past, and is it the same here or different?
I think for me, I've always took on this versatility role, but I will say, being at the levels I've been at, the players aren't as big. So this year we got a guy like E-Man. That would have been my matchup last year in my conference, in my league. So it's a much different role, because last year I was playing more of a 4-man. I was around 220. So right now I'm about 205. I put on a lot of like muscle and got rid of a lot of fat. Just that goes to all that running too. That's gonna get you in shape. But this year I've been trying to focus more on getting back into being a playmaker, just working on my ball handling skills. It really doesn't matter where you put me, honestly, because I just, like I said, I take on that versatility role. So whatever the team needs. But I know this year, shout out to Coach Wilk and all the other coaches that's just been prepping me. They've been allowing me to be able to play my game. I feel most comfortable being a point guard, so they've been letting me get reps and just get the feel for it. So I think that's what I'll be leaning towards. But depends, man, with the lineup. But we got crazy lineups. We can go super big and we can go small. So if I'm in with the smaller guards, I might have to move to the 3, maybe the 4. But if we got big lineup, man, I appreciate being able to play in that 1.
What was the draw to come to UNLV and come to Vegas?
I think more so like a family thing. Anthony Wilkins was on my staff last year at UTRGV, and from there we built a real good bond and relationship. And once he knew he was coming to UNLV, like I said, family thing, he had actually already had connections with Pastner at Georgia Tech. So he looked at him as family, and I look at him as family. So it was just beautiful to bring us all together.
What's your favorite thing so far about the campus or Vegas?
Oh, man. My favorite thing.
Finding good spots to eat.
Well, honestly, bro, I was going to say, honestly, bro, I went to this place, Mount Charleston, I want to say. It's like mountains, bro. You just went up there and hiked. I went up there and hiked, got up there, and that was actually my first time being up in the mountains that high. So that was one crazy experience for me.
A little cooler.
Yeah, way cooler. Once I got to the top, I probably couldn't breathe as much as I could at the bottom. So it was new, man. But I enjoyed it, and the scenery, man. It's just sometimes you ride around, seeing the mountains in the background. It don't look real. It don't look real. And I'm from the Midwest in Louisville, Kentucky. So we more valley, but we don't got no mountains and stuff like that to look at, bro. So it's nice.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate you, brother.